how is retirement?
Yeah, it's all right. It's good. It's treating me well. It's a bit more partying than I would have liked, just because I've lived kind of quite a dedicated life for the last 18 seasons, and I could probably do one night out, but there's been quite a few nights out. Everything seems to send into a party because I don't have anything to have to do. I've always got work stuff, so I'm a bit bad. Like I'll go for a party, you know, I'll let my hair down and go till 1, then I'll just pack up and go, right, I've got to go home. But my wife's like, well, you just can't leave everyone. I said, well, I've got stuff to do. So we had a few arguments over that in terms of me wanting to pull the plug, because that's what I used to do when I played. You know, I'd go out, not drink, stay out for a bit and then leave because I'd have something the next day. Now I'm going out and getting smashed and then pulling the pin because I've got something the next day and I don't want to be late. I can't do hangovers very well. But other than that, it's good. A lot of chance to do different things, like come on your guys' podcast. And I find myself, I've had to get myself an assistant. I know it sounds really big time. Not like I haven't got I'm not like a Kardashian where I've got like a proper assistant. I've got one of these virtual assistants. They're incredible, actually. You kind of buy blocks of hours. So you buy like 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, or whatever. And she's sort of managing my diary. And it means that I'm like, because normally I'd just come into London to do this and not do anything else. But now I've got like 5 things back to back, all organised. So I'm getting stuff done. It's driving my wife mad because she's a control freak and she wants to control everything. Right. So she can't do that anymore. So you know, and things like flights and stuff are getting sorted. I'm having a lot of fun. I haven't thought a lot about rugby.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
That's weird, right?
Well, do you know what it is? I think mentally it's quite a good thing, because every time I think about rugby, see rugby, watch clips of stuff on TV, talk about it, it gets me down a little bit because the World Cup's coming up. I would like to play. It's just still has that kind of annoying effect. Also because my foot, which I retired from, is still really sore. So that pisses me off. So all those kind of things, you know, it's nice to just be away from it. And obviously, bizarrely, rugby's not really following me around at the moment. We're in the middle of summer. The England team are training. I've been asked to go into camp, so I might pop in and see them. But that'll be my first contact with rugby. I've had nothing else. I've just been DJing, a lot of speaking, a lot of partying, a lot of working, odd bit of training. I haven't been training as much as I should have done. That's been the hardest thing, trying to fit that in, you know, for kind of however many years. Every day I knew where I was supposed to be. I mean, I went to boarding school from age kind of 8 till 18, so I knew where I was every day there. And then from 18 to 34, I was a professional sportsman. And now I have to create my own timetable, and some days I'm just messing it up and not getting time to train. Like today's the first time I've trained in 4 days today, so that's why I've got a bit of pump on. So
yeah, you're looking a bit wide still. I mean, I don't think you don't look like you lost it quite yet, mate. But
I have slimmed down. Actually, I was about 122 kilos about 8 weeks ago, and now I'm 112 something. So I've lost a little bit just for summer, you know.
So this is with a little bit of size lost on you.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Might not be looking at the video right now, but James is fucking wedge. He's wham. But yeah, so you did have some proper sort of time off in Fiji though, right? I heard you mentioning that on your own podcast as well, and you were looking very bronzed right now. Yeah,
I am. Yeah, I've done all right actually with the tanning. Fiji was wicked. We went there for 2 days, flew out there, went for 2 days, had a really nice time getting introduced to Fiji, flew straight from Fiji to Tonga. Well, I had a mate of mine, Billy Vanapola, England rugby player, his wedding, which was insane. I ended up giving 2 speeches.
2 speeches?
First one was kind of like, I pretty much helped myself up. The second one was, I was invited up. And that was, you know, that was kind of amazing, culturally unbelievable, really kind of eye-opening, the Pacific Islands. You know, you kind of have no idea what they're like until you kind of go there. And obviously just Fiji's so beautiful, Tonga so beautiful. And then we came back for a week and went to Turtle Island, which is where they filmed the movie Blue Lagoon. I haven't seen Blue Lagoon, but it's got Brooke Shields in it. I'm not sure a lot of your audience will have seen it. It's a bit of an old movie, but it's basically unbelievable lagoons, you know, crystal clear water. Went there for 5 days. Obviously did a hello photo shoot.
Standard.
got to do it. So that's out at the moment. So that's, you know, filling up the shelves. So we did that, and then we came back, and then 4 days later, we were in Geneva for another ex-teammate's of mine wedding, because I've never been to weddings. I've never done stag do's, never done weddings, because I can never do it. Now I'm just going to everything, a drop of a hat.
So you're catching up on all the partying, basically. Yeah. You're getting all those hours back in again.
Yeah, so my wife said to me, she was like, when she was really hungover, it was her birthday, and I took her away to Soho Farmhouse, and we stayed, and I bumped into a friend and his wife. They were celebrating their anniversary, and it got real loose real quickly. But a big lunch turned into, you know, I ended up getting on the decks at this Soho house. And the lady I was DJing with was a lady called Carly. She's a great DJ. She was playing some unbelievable tech house.
Yeah.
Right? Which is obviously not the kind of music you normally associate with Soho Farmhouse. And then she said, you get on the decks if you want. I was steaming, and we just ended up started playing techno, and about 40 people in this room just started going off.
Sick.
So I was obviously having the time of life. Next day when Chloe's kind of spewing and in head in hands, she's like, I've got to do, I gave up all this. I've done this. I did this 20 years ago. I'm like, I'm trying to be professional, but now I'm going back through it because I never did it. I never went to uni, never did any of it. So I'm pretty much, the body can't take a lot much more of it. So I'm trying to get the more training balance right as opposed to partying balance.
Fair enough. But to be fair though, you must have been on a fair few rugby socials though, mate. And let's say they are definitely a category of party that are way up there. They're not like casual drinks at the pub, are they, mate?
No. But the thing is, you normally only have them kind of once or twice a season.
Fair enough.
So I was always one of those players where I didn't really used to drink a lot. Was always kind of quite anal about being professional and didn't ever want to stay out too long. So I used to used to pull the pin a lot, smoke bomb a lot. I'm going to go into the toilet and just disappear, go home. But you would have end of season or mid-team social, which would be a full all-dayer, normally involving fancy dress, which would be carnage. One of our socials made it on the Daily Mail, the Daily Express, a boat party. I can't go into too much detail, but it was it actually wasn't as bad as the newspapers made out. But it was we hired a stag do boat, which was purpose built, and the people on the staff, I think they thought they were going to be into like no win, no fee, win some cash. If they're going to try and blackmail the people, like morons. And they were like, we've never seen anything like it. And I was like, you run a stag do boat. Like it was 20 lads. I was dressed as a bird. Like it wasn't that crazy. But they tried to make out we were sort of having some sort of homosexual orgy with each other on the boat, and I was like, listen, we haven't just all left our wives and girlfriends and like finally gone, we're free, put on YMCA. It was kind of quite a lot of bullshit. So that made that in the paper. So you now have to be so tame with what you're doing.
Was that when they used to like actually do honey traps? They used to send birds to parties. I've heard stories where they've sent birds to parties and they've gone there and like pretended to have a good time. A photo's been taken, and then it's in the paper.
So there's two things. There's one very famous, a guy called Phil Greening, who's the US A7's coach, and a guy called Joe Worsley, who used to play with. They were walking outside Twickenham once after training. These two birds came over and were like, mate, can we just do a photo with you? We'd love to have a photo. And a guy came out with like a professional lens and just said the photo. They both lifted their tops up and had tits out with the sun plastered on them, and obviously did the lads. There's been quite a few stitch ups. I remember in Australia I was involved in this I don't want to give too much away from the autobiography.
Fair enough.
There was a boat trip where we went, and it basically was entitled "Boats and Hoes," from Step Brothers, and it was again stitch. It was complete stitch up. There was no brass on the boat. There was nothing like that. But it was just because we were out in Australia, they just all try and cash in. But I mean, it'd be 10 times worse for footballers. Like I wouldn't, if a bird came up to me randomly, if I was a footballer, I'd just run in the other direction. That's why I'm so glad I'm married. So I just I just run the other way, and then I just can't be involved.
I can just see pictures of that trying to be taken and you just diving out of the way.
Yeah. That's what happened on that Boats and Hose thing. Everyone else was on the boat and this was going out, and I saw this guy pull out the most professional telescopic lens.
Big giveaway.
And I just went, lads, get down. And I fucking died. And on this photo, you can just see my feet poking out the side of the boat where all the other lads are on there, and no one heard me. And there's one of my mates like holding a Corona while his girls are kind of, they were like PR girls, like just serving drinks, but they were in like kind of lingerie-ish kind of things on this kind of boat trip, and it looked terrible, but I was well out of the way. But I still got mentioned in the text.
Standard, you still get put in.
I still got
foot was clearly in the wrong.
Yeah. It was normally my terrible shoe choice that probably caught me out. You know what I mean? A big orthopedic shoe hanging off the back of the boat.
So, like, how bad is the foot right now? Like, so you walked in here, you're not on crutches, but where
it's bad.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's so I think at some point, I hope it's calming down because I'm not running on it, but it's not amazing. I think that at some point I might have to have an operation to fuse it, which will 3 or 4 months rehab to get it right. Where they basically take the joint out, they kind of almost attach your toe to the other bone, so you'll have limited range. There are apparently a couple of Premiership footballers running around with it. No rugby players had it done, or no top level rugby players had it done. It's annoying. It's just annoying because I love training. I love doing different stuff. It's just things like you just catch it, or just trying to walk sometimes, or if I wear bad shoes that aren't really stiff. Like if I wore flip-flops, an hour later I'll be unable to walk. It's that sore. It's just a bit debilitating, really. That's just an annoying thing. I
can imagine like a coffee table stub is going to be a real big deal in your life.
Or a stairs stub.
Oh,
yeah, I know. It is a bit of a nightmare. So I've just been smashing a load of there's a lot of anti-inflammatories and bits and pieces that you can't take when you're playing because of testing and everything else like that. So I'm in the middle of a course of that to try to calm it down, but it's not making that much difference. So I think we just have to hold out and maybe get the operation.
Okay, but you're quite into your fitness. So if you're taking out that running cardio, how are you going to kind of counteract that now?
So I've just got myself a watt bike. They're pretty rank in terms of the condition. They've got this kind of cool app that links with them. I always use the Versa Climber. For me, like the Versa Climber is the best bit of cardio equipment. It's kind of full body carnage. It's the thing that Ivan Drago uses in Rocky 4.
Oh, that looks terrible.
Yeah, it is. Mate, it's honestly, it's nothing. Everyone always goes, oh, you should try the assault bike. You should try this. I'm like, nah, Versa Climber will end you. So, and that gets your legs. You come off that, you feel like you've done leg weights. Your lungs are bursting. So what I'll do is I'm just doing beach weights at the moment, which is quite fun because I don't have to train for anything other than just aesthetics. So I'm doing this program called Pump City, which I'm really pleased about. Doing that, I've got Chloe onto it as well, and we basically I do whatever body part it is, and then cardio afterwards. And I flip between HIIT, so obviously HIIT training, or moderate state stuff, a bit more endurance things, and then. And then I'll come out with some horrific circuit like Chloe and I before her birthday. Woke up on her birthday morning before we started piling into champagne and cake. Just did a naughty circuit. Pretty horrible. I almost threw up on myself. But I've just learned to rope climb as well, so we were doing some of that. Chloe learned to rope climb about 30 seconds. So we've just been playing around, just trying to have fun, but I still want to train. Like I still have to put myself in a hole. I put myself in a hole this morning just because I haven't trained for a while. I just like testing myself whether I've still push myself.
It's very disciplined, to be honest, because a lot of sports people, not a lot of, but you do hear of sports people, I don't know, Prince Nazim, and he's totally cool with it. He's just gone another way. He just don't care.
Not about that life. I just think looking like a melted wheelie bin is not really my vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like when you have to tuck your fucking stomach into top of your shorts, and you know what I mean? It's just not. Yeah. When you're wearing high-waisted shit to cover stuff up, it's just no good.
Saying that to my mate the other day, he's like, high-waisted jeans. I'm like, no. As soon as your jeans don't fit, that's a sign that something needs to be done.
I mean, there's a few, I know it's not the kind of show, but I've got some real issues with birds with high-waisted stuff. There's obviously a big thing about high-waisted, just birds makes them, like, got terrible dumpers, massive darbs, or... The terminology I use is fupa, but you'd have to. I'm not going to tell you what that means, but you have to Google that for the listeners. What fupa? A lot of fupa hanging out the front, a lot of darbs, a lot of lads, right? Big tracksuit bottoms, a lot of men wearing high waisted stuff. It's like no. Forget high waisted. It's not about the life. You've got to cover it up.
Yeah.
Then it's no good. Like I know women have got the advantage of Spanx, and the woman who made Spanx made $1 billion. I understand that. I'm not body shaming, but lads as well. There are some hanging lads, and English people. In the summer, you see some of the most rascal get-ups you've ever seen. Terrible tattoos, pale, pasty, skin conditions, just shit gears everywhere. And it really upsets me when I drive around in the summer. And I'm not the best dressed person in the world either, but it does depress me. English people at the seaside is just village.
I agree. I think when it comes to wearing clothes, I always want to be the guy who wears my clothes. I don't want my clothes to wear me. Do you know what I mean? So and I've been big. I will be big again, and I get trim again. But I'm always in the mindset that if I've got a big belly and I'm out, I'm gonna wear the same kind of clothes. I'm not gonna try and wear some concealing 6-pack padded abs t-shirt or something like that.
Or be like that weird guy, that Ken doll, that Alvarez guy. The guy who's literally just tortured himself into oblivion. But it's weird. We as a society. Put someone like him on the Daily Mail. We all watch him implode from a distance, and instead of someone just putting an arm around and going, mate, you have some serious mental health issues. We're not going to publish this because we don't want to keep thinking this is a good idea. Yeah. Where people are getting like fat put in to make abs. It's like no.
It's insane. The things you can do with fat nowadays is insane, isn't it?
But it's just. But also, it's hard. The thing is, as well, we live in a world as well culturally where people trying to sell you the dream that it's really easy to get in shape. Actually being in shape's fun. It's hard. Like being really, really lean is hard. You have to be restrictive. But equally, it's actually not that hard to shift timber, and it's actually not that hard to stay in reasonable shape if you kind of understand. But we make things super complicated with nutrition and training when there's so much technology and apps and stuff that can help you. Like MyFitnessPal's a key. I track all my food, track everything, just because I know, I can check. I mean, I literally went from 122 to 112 from training, just restricting myself a little bit, still able to have fun, still able to drink when I need to drink. But people just make it really complicated. Like you've got to drink, anything that's green, or eat anything that are beige, or being vegan's better than, no sugar, and no sugar's better than having no alcohol. And, if you eat chocolate, you're going to die. It's just bullshit.
Well, people that have like 1,000 bananas in a smoothie and go, that's health.
Yeah.
That's health right now. I've just had 1,000 carrots.
It's like my parents who I said to them, right, listen, don't eat breakfast. Within 30 minutes of waking, good to have some whey protein or some protein. So have a protein shake, just because if you're not going to eat breakfast, good to start your day, good for your immune system and everything else. And I came out, they're both getting fat as fuck, and I was like, what's going on? And I saw them make a smoothie, and it was like smoothie. They'd bought a mass gainer instead of whey protein because it was chocolate. They were banging in blueberries, bananas, fruit. You've got all these birds going, yeah, listen, I'm eating this wicked salad, and it's like salad covered in avocado, nuts, olive oil. I'm like, you've literally got 800 calories worth of stuff in that salad.
Before the dressing.
Yeah, because people forget that fats are like 9 calories per 1 gram.
Yeah.
So people going, I'm eating nuts, healthy nuts. You're eating a fucking handful of 300 calories of nuts. Like, you're not doing yourself any favours. And they're all going, yeah, what I do is I have this salad, and then later I'm going to have pasta. You're like, no, that's just literally fat and carbohydrate. Where's the protein on there?
Yeah.
But it's mad.
It's fair enough though. MyFitnessPal, when I've used that quite a lot, and if you haven't used MyFitnessPal, basically it's an app where it asks you all of the information like age, weight, height, and then it kind of recommends on your preference if you want to lose weight or gain a bit of weight what to eat, and you can tweak it, go a bit further than that, but its presets are pretty reasonable. But the easiest thing about it I like is I can go and eat something, scan it, like go Tesco, Sainsbury's, whatever, scan it, and it literally tells you the calories, the protein, and everything in it. And when I'm on it, when I'm doing more of that, it does work, and I think measuring is one of the most important things when it comes to
because
fitness.
also, there's two things. So I brought out a cookbook, Cooking for Fitness, which we put barcodes on every recipe so everyone can scan them. So you're making it and following the book. It's kind of quite unique out there. People haven't done that yet. So that was kind of one of our key selling points with that. The other thing is that weighing stuff, it's really anal, a bit invasive, but actually gives you a really good idea, because people guesstimate sometimes up to like 700, 800 calories wrong. I remember I gave this guy a plan, and I'd seen him like 2 days later, and he was like eating nothing for dinner, and I was like, what? Why are you not eating? I told you got to be eating food. What's going on? He's like, oh well, I've done all my calories. I went, how? And he said, well, I had 100 grams of oats at breakfast. I said, show me how much you had. And he filled a bowl up with, let me weigh that for you. It was like 30 grams. Like, mate, you got to understand, like, people guesstimate, I'm having a steak, that's 700 grams. Like, no, that's 200 grams. Yeah. And I do that with the lads. We all sit around like England training or Northampton. I'll be like, right, guesstimate what those salmon, and it sounds like we run out of chat, but it's like, guesstimate that. And they're all off. They're all wrong. Do you know what I mean? And it's just so important to just get a pair of scales, start doing it, start, making a difference, because you could literally be out by that many calories and just completely screwing yourself over. So it's worth it. If you're serious about trying to change your body, doing MyFitnessPal, taking a bit of time to weigh yourself, even when you go out, looking at the menu before you get to the restaurant and just seeing what's what, typing it in and seeing where you go. And then
you got to add on the 500 kilograms of butter that the chef throws on it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
And you don't know what they cook it in. That's the other thing. So that's why you got to go a bit safer, because you don't know what they're cooking it in.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched some cooking programs and I've seen the chefs go, just put in a little bit of butter, half a knob of butter.
Well, the guy, that Salt Bay dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen what he cooks those steak? He literally picks up a whole slab of butter, throws the butter into the pan, explodes oil, and then he melts it, and he's cooking this whole thing in it. I mean, it makes you feel sick. Like, all the food he cooks looks amazing. I just don't think I could bring myself to eat any of it. Yeah. It looks looks like a heart attack.
Some of the meat, when he cuts it, and I look into it, and because I like a red steak, see a bleeding steak, I'm like, I'll have a slice of that, but not the whole cow though.
Yeah, but he puts cow, but then he puts like massive amounts of cheese on top of it and does all this stuff. Yeah. It's a bit aggressive. Like, I love a steak. I mean, I'm massively into my barbecuing. Like, I've got this new I've gone completely mad this summer. I've got a pizza oven and a barbecue, this Traeger barbecue that cooks on wood chips.
Got Traeger, yeah?
Mate, so key, mate. Honestly, I promise to God, I know they're expensive, but it has turned me from someone who couldn't cook into someone who literally is completed barbecuing. I tell you why, because you're cooking everything to temperature, nothing to time. And that is the key to anything. We always look at things as packets and cook it or whatever. Nah, it is all about temperature. And I'm cooking up. I just did slow cooked ribs, 5 hours, baby back ribs, barbecue sauce, bit of brown sugar, all this kind of stuff. Mate, unbelievable. Pizza oven. I'm making fucking pizzas. It's like Domino's pizza restaurant around my house.
Yeah.
And it's just, honestly, it's just absolutely changed my whole barbecue. I'm trying to barbecue everything.
You're enjoying retirement, mate.
I waste all my money on technology. Yeah. That's my entire life. It's just technology.
What's some of the techie things you're into at the moment? I see you got an Apple Watch there, so I see you're invested in that ecosystem.
Right. So I will. I'm trying to start from sort of top to bottom.
Let's go, man. Let's do it.
So, the things that come with me everywhere I go: MacBook Pro everywhere. Obviously, portable hard drive. I always carry 2 sets of headphones, one Bluetooth, one got Beats. Beats Pros, the cable ones. I think they're the best. I've just got those Power Beats.
The new ones.
The new ones, yeah. They're wicked. Obviously, iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad. I've got an iPad Pro at home, but I use that for kind of watching stuff in the morning, or doing emails when I'm sitting on the counter. But that comes, as I said, the thing comes with me everywhere. GoPro, always got GoPro with me, and a couple of little bit attachments that always kind of roll with me. Just because I find it super useful when I'm training, doing stuff, doing a bit of. You can go live from it. I've struggled a little bit with the live, but it's got that kind of real nice stabilization on it. If I'm going to go on holiday, I've got a Canon M50 for like vlogging with a Rode mic on top of it. I think obviously a lot of DJing's kind of come part of my life, so I've got quite a cool setup at home. We were saying before the show, I've got two 2000Xs, a 900. 2 1000s and a Zone 96 for more the techno vibe, but I need to get the hang of that. I use an Evermix box to record all those. That's so useful. Just record everything to your phone. So even when I go into gigs, I always take that with me. And then I'm trying to think what else. Obviously got drones. I fucking spent so much money on drones, but it's great. But I wish I had someone with me using the drone to film me, because otherwise all this stuff's great, but I'm always having to set it up and film myself.
And
I need someone to film me doing the stuff, but my wife is not interested in learning to do it. She doesn't care about any of these technology. She just wants to use an iPhone, and that's it. So I've got the Spark, I've got the Mavic Pro, I had the original Phantom, so I've got the kind of them buzzing around. Obviously gym tech wise, I use I said the Apple Watch kind of every day for all the training kind of stuff. The apps on my Fitness Pal, kind of what I use all the time. I'm trying to think what else I do a lot of video editing myself as well.
So you edit your own YouTube videos?
Edit my own YouTube videos. Make my own radio show. So I've got this house music show called Back Row Radio. So I've obviously I had to buy myself a decent Rode mic and a I don't know what the word is. Like a terminal for speakers. When you can. Like in your
little sound card setup.
Yeah, got that. Obviously, I had to buy a big portable spare screen because trying to make music off a normal MacBook screen is quite tricky. So that's kind of what comes with me everywhere. But my main staple is GoPro, laptop, phone, headphones, portable hard drive, camera, and I'm just on that all the time. Drives my missus mad, really.
It's great that you can throw it in a rucksack, though. She doesn't have to help you carry it.
No, she doesn't have to do anything. Yeah, that is key. But I think I'm always looking for the next kind of thing. Like I used to have I spent a lot of money on DJI products, like the Osmo Mobile. And then when I sort of started working with GoPro, I kind of went away with that. But there's a lot of things like the Osmo Mini that I've seen.
The Pocket is decent, mate.
Oh, I know. Everyone keeps saying to me, but then I'm like, fuck, I've got the Hero, I've got a couple of Hero 7s. I'm like, it's one of those things until someone invents something that's kind of the next level. Like I've used that Fusion 360. The camera's quite cool again. But a lot of stuff, I don't do a lot of extreme sports. So, there's only so much kind of training stuff you can do and holiday bits and pieces you can do. And I think GoPro, I think when they signed me, I think they thought I was maybe going to do
extreme.
And I was like, guys, I could not be less extreme if you tried. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else really technology-wise that I kind of really buy into. I'm always looking for the next gadget,
Are you kind of a fan of having things that are portable, though? Because a lot of the things you've mentioned, like you had the old Phantom DJI, but you've kind of gone for the ones that can fold up now. Is it kind of important for you to be able to take them all
100%. So I got my rucksack with me. I've left it outside the door wherever it is.
Right behind you?
Yeah. And it's always in there. So if I can take it with me, set it up really easily, it's fine. When I went on holiday, I kind of took my vlogging bag with me, which has got my Canon, GoPro, Fusion, obviously the tripods, all the kind of little attachments, the sticky bits and pieces. And then, and obviously I always take my 2 USBs for DJ in case the main DJ dies and they need to call me up the crowd. Like,
always
like
ready.
Is there a doctor on board? Is there a DJ on board? Actually, funny you should say that. Yes, there is. Get me on there. Tiesto's died. I'll step up. I'll step up.
Tech house, I got you.
Yeah. Well, actually, all the uni gigs commercial. I'll literally do whatever you need. Get me on there. All the stuff is quite. I really like the portability of all of it. as I said, my life is through my laptop the entire time, and you've got so many bits and pieces. And it's annoying that I love Apple, but they keep fucking around with all the attachments and bits and pieces, and that's why, I think,
That's why I've stayed on this, on the last version of the MacBook Pro, because it's still got the card reader, it's still got the old USBs.
Otherwise, you have to have an attachment for attachment before you know it. I put Velcro on the back of my case so I could stick a hard drive onto the back, stick the adapters onto the back, so I had everything. So it looks like I've got like a supercharged laptop. But I had to replace the battery in my MacBook. It was a nervous day. They were like, "Oh, we could do it in 5 days." I was like, "I need it in 2 days," and they managed to hook me up. And now it works like a dream because I was ready to replace it. But now we're back, good friends. Actually, before I met my wife, I didn't love anyone as much as I loved my laptop, but now I've replaced that with her.
Okay, I was going to say, we're leaving that in the edit.
Nah, she dips down. She dips down sometimes. Some days she's like below it, she's pissing me off. But like today, she's on good form, so she's better.
Fair enough. Where did the DJing thing come from anyway?
So I've always used music as a tool before games. It was something I worked with my sports psychologist on since the age of kind of 16. I was one of the first kind of players in the change room of my generation listening to music pre-game. No one else used to do it. They used to have a lot of speakers playing. When you got onto a bus for a game, I would be the only one with the headphones on. No one else would have them. And then it kind of slowly started filtering in. Now, if you don't have them on, you're the weird one. Everyone's got almost like a sea of headphones. You see every footballer getting off, has got his Beats on or whatever they're doing. So I always use music with that, and I started going to Vegas. I ended up going to Vegas 13 times in like a span a period, and it was obviously amazing. Vegas is literally the best place on earth. And I started going to Ibiza, and I sort of fell in love with music, and I started seeing DJs, and I was like, hold on a minute. Guys at the front of the room, or girls at the front of the room, controlling everyone's mood, playing unbelievable tunes, getting paid to do it with all the attention. Why the fuck would I not want to do it? So I luckily there turned out a load of rugby kind of fans were DJs. So Jaguar Skills, Simon Dunmore, who else? There's a couple more. There's a couple more. I'm trying to think. There's a very famous acid house DJ that I'm going to forget now. But so basically there was a lot of guys there, and I started doing little lessons with everyone, just showed interest. And then I went and did a course at Sub Bass because I had to learn like that. I'm not one of these guys that's overly creative or can just pick stuff up. Like I need mythology behind what I'm doing, and I need to be able to do step by step. So I did a course there, and now once or twice a week I get a guy called Alex Grover, who's an unbelievable guy, comes along and to my gaff, or I go meet him in London, and we do DJ lessons just to keep topping stuff up. And I've been playing out for about 3 years and absolutely loving it. And then people started paying me, and I was like, this is just literally turned my hobby into a job.
It's not bad, yeah.
That's not bad. So basically everything, all my hobbies, I've essentially turned into paid jobs, which I don't think is too bad. I mean, apart from barbecue, no one's paying me to barbecue.
Yet.
Yeah, but
barbecue cookbook on the way. Yeah, I'll take 5% off that, James. Thank you very much. Cheers.
No problem.
So actually, Jag was at Bournemouth Sevens, and you were at Bournemouth Sevens. Yes. I was actually there as well randomly. But did you play the same day as Jag?
So I played. There's two. I played in the VVIP area.
The
VVIP area, and 4,000 people turned up.
Fuck.
And it was fucking insane. It was the most fun I've had a gig. There's a dude dressed as me. He was on his stag do, including red scrum cap, full England kit, and video camera from my schoolboy days. If you want to know about that, you have to Google that. And it was mega, and it went off. But I think Jag was playing either the closing party the next night or later that night.
Yeah.
Because also the guy Roger Woodall, who set Bournemouth Sevens up, is kind of the genius behind the whole event. I think he knew I DJ'd, but it's a lot of times I meet people and they don't know that I can actually DJ. There's a lot of people going, "Oh, you can actually DJ." I'm like, "Yeah." I think they think I'm like Paris Hilton, just pressing buttons or whatever, and don't really know what I'm doing. So he was quite astounded. So I think they kind of put me on a slot, a bit tentative, thinking if I completely fucked the whole thing up. But no, it went off, mate. It was absolutely insane, and we kind of raved for an hour. I wanted to stay on, but that was a classic case of where I'd basically worked at HSBC at the Sevens all day, got picked up in a car, met Chloe and I went to Bournemouth, smashed the gig, got a little bit drunk, got back in the car, got driven back home, and then I worked at HSB Sevens the whole next day. So it's kind of, that's the crazy time. So we never go too mad at these gigs, you know.
To be fair, you're like the perfect DJ for that kind of gig, because there's Sevens is literally, it's a rugby lot there, isn't it? Really,
it was kind of quite cool, yeah. And but it was it's like a full festival vibe. You've been, you know what I mean?
It's like
eight stages.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of going mad. It's the best sporting festival thing I've ever seen.
Easily,
I'm desperate to come back again.
Yeah, definitely.
And play it next year because it was just so much fun.
Yeah, like we were there, and like I don't know, I think I was at the Yard. I was on a stage called the Yard, and the vibe there was just insane. And then I wasn't as busy as you, so I got a little chance for a little walk around, like in between sets, and the vibe there was just insane. And like everybody plays some sports during. Is it sports during the day?
Yeah. So everyone plays sevens. There's sevens and netball.
Yeah.
All throughout the day. And then it finishes, and everyone gets on it. And then I think there might be something on the Sunday. But I was just amazed. It's just trashed people everywhere. It was just a full festival.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is absolutely ended everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was incredible. It was one of my best things. I mean, before that, I'd done something for the young farmers down in Blackpool, right? And I got invited to do that. And again, they said, "Do you want to DJ?" I just say yes. And I didn't really pay much attention to what I was doing. Got there the day. Got there about 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. I was on at 12. Started talking to people. I said, "Oh, so who's on before me?" And they went, "Our band." I was like, "Sweet." And I said, "Who's on after me?" They're like, "Nobody. You're headlining." I was like, "What?" And they were like, "You're headlining." I was like, "Okay, well, fine, right. How many people are going to come down? There'll be 5,000 people down here." I was like, "Yeah, but not in the thing." And they were like, "No, there'll be 5,000 in the thing." So I went out to look out the stage. It literally was just to see the metal barrier, and me up on stage. And obviously, as a rugby player, you play in front of 80,000 people. You don't notice individuals, and you're part of a team. It's a whole different world when you walk out onto the decks, and it's you and it's them, and everybody's watching you, and everyone's night is dictated by whether you play the right tunes. You can literally fuck up everyone's vibe. And that was mega, and I thought that was kind of the pinnacle. But then Bournemouth kind of took it to a whole new level, and I think Ibiza Rocks is going to be another level again. So I'm pretty excited by that.
And is this going to be tech house that you're playing?
No. So my radio show is much more my kind of vibe. It's kind of defected record style music into a bit more tech house. Into the last 20 minutes is always kind of techno. The stuff that I play for universities, the stuff I play at this stuff much more commercial, much more kind of MK, that kind of stuff that you would hear, Medusa, all those kind of people that are playing at the moment. So I tailor it. I would never do that. I think actually, interesting enough, Ibiza Rocks, they had no idea who I was. I think it was actually Craig David who kind of put me forward for it, because I've become, I've got to know him quite well, and he's an absolute legend. I think they thought I was going to try and play tech house and techno to a pool party crowd, and I beat them. I was like, no, don't panic. That's not I've got two separate worlds, really. I've got my personal preference, which, as I said, when we went to Soho Farmhouse, just kicked off. It was unbelievable. My first track that I mixed in, I was like pointed. I was like, "Can I play this?" She was like, "Yeah." It was like Adam Bayer's "Losing Your Mind," and everybody just went mental. I was like, I don't even get to play this at the gigs that I want to play this at. But all the commercial stuff I absolutely love. I was jamming yesterday with my DJ guy, and we were just playing all the kind of music that we were playing, and that we play at Ibiza, and it's wicked. It's just really commercial, great vibes, great pool party vibes. So I love both. Anything that the crowd react to. But I'm not. Sadly, I haven't. I'm not Carl Cox in a kind of a niche where you book me and you know what you're going to get. I play whatever the crowd want, except I don't play a lot of hip hop or garage, really. So it's kind of different genres of house. I'm going to try to learn to DJ hip hop. Actually, it's something I want to try.
Really? Would you like to step into that as well?
Yeah. Well, what I'd like to do is just be able to I'd like to get so upskilled. It's the same thing with I apply to sport with DJing. Is that I want to get upskilled in everything. So I did the music production course with Toolroom. So I wanted to get into that. So I started trying to do producing some music. Obviously I finished off with a track out of that. I've actually gone into studio with a couple of times with a guy called Dean Ramirez and a lady called DJ Laura, and we've made some tracks and stuff. But I want to improve, so I'd love to get a bit of garage, a bit of R&B, a bit of hip hop, so I can upskill myself anyway. So if I come into that, I can play different formats, I can play different crowds. For me, it's like a never-ending journey, and it's something I really love. So I kind of invest in it. I pay to publish my radio show. I pay to have these DJ lessons because I think it's really good for me, and I think my same sort of application to anything in life is that you can always get better. I just want to do it. I've never tried it. I don't know how hard it's going to be. I probably won't try and DJ trap or drum and bass because I don't see myself doing that. But I think a bit of garage, be able to bang a few of those in, be able to bang in a bit of R&B, a bit of hip hop.
Jag's a good shout for that, actually.
Mate, he's unbelievable. He sent me 15 of his latest kind of remix tracks, and mate, they're unbelievable. And I cannot wait to play them. But the problem is, I think the time I'm on at Ibiza is too early for them.
Yeah.
But mate, they're incredible, and they're all time stretch. So it's literally you just quick mix and they're just bangers.
Yeah.
Every single one. He's a genius. Like I remember I went round to his house to give him a DJ lesson. He just taught me beat juggling on vinyl.
Yeah.
So he had a Serato. He had two 1210s, what they are, and he was literally teaching me beat juggling. And I remember I was doing it. He was like, no, go back, no. All I kept saying was no. It's like right about by the end of it, we were kind of getting it, but it's just cool. It's just amazing things like this.
Well, look, with teachers like that, mate, you're going to be smashing clubs.
No.
I'll tell you what.
No, because the thing is as well is that remember that guys like Jaguar Skills and Simon Dunmore and all these people are like geniuses. They've been doing it for such an early age. It's often sometimes very hard to kind of communicate how you do it. That's why I had to go to a class and actually learn from the beginning and understand music. I still, don't obviously, I'm still trying to comprehend all of it. It's not. I don't think I fully get it, but I kind of understand it. But just now the principles of mixing and trying to do things, and I've started doing a bit of a cappella mixing, trying to put things over the top as well of stuff. So I got onto the 3-deck mixing. I quite enjoy that kind of stuff. So I DJ'd at Haskell racecourse about 3 weeks ago, and I had to 3 gigs, one 45-minute, 1 hour, one 15-minute, and I honestly lost my mind.
15.
1-5. Weird, right? But the weird thing was I walked into this place to play, and if you stepped into the tent, you could hear the music, and it was open-sided, you could hear the music. If you took your foot outside the tent, you couldn't hear it. So I walked up to decks, and I was like swapping over this woman. And I literally, my tour manager was me, and I said, this isn't volume, is it? They're like, oh, because the racing's on. I went, well, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
You might as well put Spotify on. And they were like, no, it's as loud as we can go. I was like, well, you've got to go a little bit louder. I mean, I can't, honestly, if I stepped away from the monitor, I couldn't hear it. So I had I ended up wanting to kill this sound guy who was a complete plum, who kept telling me he used to be a drummer. I was like, mate, I don't give a shit what you used to do. Shut up and fucking turn up the volume. So honestly, he was like pretending to walk around on an iPad the whole time.
Yeah.
I knew he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So every time he walked away, I'd just turn up the booth monitors. He'd come and turn them down. While he'd walk away, I'd turn them back up again. I'd turn the main up. He'd be fucking turning it down. And then by the end of it, there was no bass. There was no bass in the entire place. Every time in my headphones, when it dropped, I was having the time of my life, right? And I'd be like, yes, I'd take them off, and it'd just be like, tss, 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 tss. And honestly, by the end of it, I got shit-faced because this is bullshit. And I had hands up to my eyes like binoculars, like, where's the bass? Can anybody see the bass? And people in the crowd go, where's the bass? And I was like, I don't know. Ask that prick. Where's the bass? Mate, honestly, it was fucking bullshit. But I actually recorded it. And because no one could hear it, the last half an hour of my hour set, I just played 3-deck mixing, a Honey Dijon set from Sugar Mountain, which is unbelievable. If you look on listen to on SoundCloud, it's one of the best house sets I've ever heard. And I was just playing all that, and I recorded it, so it sounds good. So I'm going to put it up on my thing.
Slap out. Where do you put your mixes up? You're going to put it on the podcast?
I've got it on the Mixcloud and SoundCloud, both under James Haskell. SoundCloud just randomly takes shit down every 5 minutes, so that's very frustrating. But Mixcloud, they've kept all the mixes up there, so I've kind of got everything I've done. It's under James Hask or James Haskell if you search that. So I've got a couple of thousand followers on each one. But one of I made a deep house mix once, and it had over 100,000 listens, so I thought was like unbelievable. And it went to number 1 and everything. I was like, I thought it was going to be the big break, but it didn't happen. It just meant I went to number 1 and that was it, and got loads of people listening.
It's a good look though, man. Like honestly, I'm really surprised because a lot of people like to kind of admit the fact that they've gone to DJ school. A lot of people are like, I just started DJing because I'm sick. I am the party.
I'm not sick.
And 2, like you are actually, bruv, you're doing a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not just doing like bar mitzvahs,
But I am
weddings.
available for weddings and funerals. But I tell you, I was doing something for Grenade. I'm sponsored by Grenade, the supplement range, and I went to a place called Tanks a lot the other day. If you see on my Instagram, you're driving like a big orange tank and shit. But there was a hearse tank, which was a big black tank where they'd taken the back out of it and put a Cadillac hearse into the back of it with glass sides, and people have been using it for funerals.
Sick.
So I'm thinking, I did Pride this year and they had a pink tank. So next year, I want to turn up to Pride with a pink tank, decks on top of it, speakers on the front of the tank, roll that down Regent Street with a massive rave up with full rainbow gears, just playing unbelievable house tunes as we're going along.
Sick, mate. If you want to host for that, I'm down, man. Rainbow suit is ready.
Is it? Mate, I need a hype man. I literally need a hype man.
I am that guy, bro.
Really,
that's what
please.
I do.
Get it on, because honestly, it was the most ridiculous party I've ever been involved in. Like, I know, and people go, Pride. It's it's a protest. It's not a thing. And I was like, well, it's the best of both worlds. Why can't we have a fucking great time and protest?
Gonna be honest. less of a protest, more of a party.
Well,
I'm gonna be honest.
what's interesting was that after all this kind of shit with Israel Folau and a few other people, and all these kind of mad religious people, it was interesting. That was like, 6 or 7 people deep. There was like six. I swear there must have been about 60,000 people out in London, and it just kind of really made you realise that we're a lot more progressive and accepting, and that the world is a good place. But me in a tank listening to that with "I'm every woman," something like that, like YMCA or whatever. I just, mate, it was going off. Yeah. So
sick.
I'm all over that.
I mean, that must have been quite an eye-opening moment. Your responses to his comments though earlier on in the year, because I kind of saw it got to you, man. I could tell in the reaction to your reaction. Yeah. I could tell that it got under your skin a little bit. Yeah. It did though, didn't it?
No. I think I obviously. Anyone with a brain or anyone who's level-headed understands what he was saying was bullshit, and understands that, without getting too deep, religion is fantastic because it gives so many people hope, a voice for when you, or someone to listen to when you're struggling, rules to live your life by, can make the world a better place. It's also responsible for complete and utter carnage across the whole thing. More people have died in the name of religion than anything else. But if you're level-headed, you can see the positivity in both. What he said was just nonsense, and the reaction to it, it was so funny. This Christian activist group tried to get me. They sent hundreds of letters into the RFU apparently trying to get me sanctioned because I'd said some hate speech. I was like, "What are you going to do? I'm retiring." I wouldn't even turn up to the tribunal. We're going to sanction you. No, you're not. It's like being at school when you leave school. It's like, well, we're going to put you in detention. You're not. We're going to send you a letter, and I ain't going to read it. So it's just, we have to be very careful because religious people are nutters, and they will, you can't push them too hard because they will just turn up to your house and kill you. That's what people do. I mean, in all sorts of places. So I've kind of tried to tone it down. I was just pissed off because we do a lot of stuff for lots of people in rugby, lots of charities, and I think when someone then, people are going to be, well, where were you when Muslims were killing these people? Where were you when this was happening? I was like, well, hold on a minute. I don't complain about everything in the world. Someone in my sphere of influence said something that I didn't like about something we are standing up for. We've just been wearing rainbow laces. So I'm not picking a fight with everyone. I'm not one of these people who, and they say it's called virtue signalling, which I learned was a new word. That's what all the bellends on social media call it. And I was like, no, I just heard something I didn't like, and I spoke up about it because he put something out there. So I thought I'd put something out there, and I thought it was important to do that. I think there's a lot of people, that are through social media feel guilty about their appearance, about how they should live their lives, how they should act. If someone like that puts something out there, it's bad. I'm not wiser than white. I make mistakes all the time. I've been rude to people. I've said shit to people. But I just think, in particular, that just annoyed me. And then the reaction to it was just quite funny. It was like, it was just bizarre. I mean, I've been condemned to hell loads of times, but we'll see. I'll either be operating drinking a martini at the bar in heaven,
or playing a kick-ass set in hell.
Or there won't be anything and I'll be worm food. Who knows? Or come back as a caterpillar. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah,
fair enough.
We'll worry about that when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose as part of your transition into broadcasting, though, is being aware of just the public's reaction to what you say. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it could be negative, or other times it can be quite positive and viral even.
I think the thing with it is you've got to understand that now in life you can offend anyone for anything. Everybody's super sensitive. Everybody has a word. Everyone has a platform. But common sense should be the guiding force. And you've got big corporations, big media people, they do crap their pants first and foremost because they've got to protect themselves. But actually, that's why politics is going down the toilet, is because nobody wants to offend anyone. No one wants to make tough decisions. And I don't want to alienate people, but I've got an opinion about certain things. And more often than not, I feel it's based on some common sense. However, I'm very acutely aware that I come from a certain section of society. I come from a certain upbringing, a certain thing. So, I would never try to put myself in the position of someone that is different from me. And I think it's very bad when people do that. But again, hopefully common sense will be your guiding factor. But listen, I am a bit controversial sometimes, but I don't mean to be. It's just, you've got an opinion. I think it's important. Now, nobody has an opinion. Or if they do, they're suddenly Katie Hopkins, where it's like completely mad.
And I think it takes a lot more people saying level-headed things like yourself to kind of counteract those other people, because you find that bad news spreads whether it's somebody saying they don't like what someone says or they do like what someone says, that just seems to go viral a lot more quickly. Do you know what I mean? So I think we need more stand-up people like yourself to say what they feel, as long as it's morally right. I mean, I believe to do that, because it's going to take more people like yourself saying stuff like that than it is that people that are going totally the other way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but also I think as well, I just finished that book, The Secret Barrister, and it's really interesting about, the law and how, when people get sanctioned for low sentences, how everyone always breathes down, the judge should be fired, this isn't right, we're letting paedophiles out. But interestingly, there's loads of different things that we don't know as members of the public, that the reason the judges can't give too many sanctions, why this has happened, but you don't know about it. And that's just that in the law side of what we read in the media. So there's so much stuff that we don't believe in, so much reactionary stuff that goes on, that sometimes it's just having a moment and actually being, look, if for example with Christianity, if they wrote a New Testament because the Old Testament was too aggressive, so he changed it. Right? Two versions didn't.
That's a bit.
Old Testament God was like killing and condemning and like genocide, but because he said it's not genocide. That's the argument. But they had the New Testament bit. But it's like, well, fine, you changed it. Well, why can't we just be progressive? Why can't you say, well, actually, that was then, now let's progress a little bit further and let's go, actually, do you know what? Since there was Adam and Eve, there's been Adam and Steve, there's been, Jess and Clara, there's been fucking everybody doing whatever they wanted to do. Let's just be progressive. But it just seems like we're stuck in that kind of weird mindset where we'll bend the rules a little bit. It's like gun laws in America. It's like, you cannot change the Second Amendment. It's like, yes, you can. It's an amendment, you dickheads. That's exactly why you can change it. It was an amendment. And it was about, I think it's, who is it who says it? Jim Jeffries is talking about the fact that, people could have the right to bear arms, a flintlock musket. So a flintlock musket gives you a lot of time to simmer down.
Yeah.
Loading it, powder, you're there for 20 minutes before you shot someone. Yeah. That wasn't based on a bloke with an AR-15 with a banana mag and a laser sight. That wasn't, that was to stop the government trying to take it. But again, common sense just says, no, more guns. Everybody needs guns. Arm the teachers, arm the kids. Yeah. I love it when Sacha Baron Cohen got those American people to say about doing like cartoons for arming the kids. Like preschoolers, arm the preschoolers.
Yeah. Oh, what was that? Was that This Is America? What was that?
Yeah. Like Tommy, when they go to the people, goes, who wants $25 million of investment? Yeah. Who wants to have a new building? Yeah. You guys have won. Are you ready? A new super mask. And everyone's like, yeah, what? And they all go mad. And it's like, oh, God, no, this is literally what's happening in the world. Yeah. So I just love it when you get a little glimpse into, through the looking glass and see actually what people are really like. Yeah. But, guns, homosexuality, mosques everywhere. The world is just a crazy place.
2019,
mate. I just don't understand, why everyone gets bogged down by all these things.
Yeah, I mean, some of it I think is just consuming a lot of media. Like I feel like I have to take a little break from the news sometimes. I have to distance myself. If I sat there, like my dad's terrible for this. He'll sit there, retired. He'll watch the news all day long. And I'll come in and see him in an afternoon on a weekend, and he'll be sitting there going, oh. And I'm like, Dad, why are you doing this to yourself, Dad? Get on the allotment and go and do your tomatoes.
Yeah, you don't need to be doing that. Because that is the thing, is we've got so much consumable media now, and nobody looks into any fact checking. That's why I'm always like, I love a dinner party story where you're sitting down there talking or having dinner with your mates or whatever, and you're like, so, did you hear that this has happened? And I'm pretty much sure now that most of the facts are wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
And it's like they didn't make it up. And there's always a friend of a friend who told you something, and no one ever looks into any of it. So that is that's why I think like platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they should, have algorithms and stuff to just filter this stuff out and just get rid of it. Because I apparently died. I died on Facebook from a steroid overdose.
Right.
I died and I was selling drugs, and then I killed myself. And the whole idea, and they put it on a banner with ESPN. It went everywhere. But the actual was eventually they were trying to sell the steroids that I'd apparently died of. It was nothing to do with it, and that was just fake news. And I died.
Fake news. Really bad advertisement for the steroids, though, isn't it? Really, got
me two hench. Die. Got two hench, and then I died.
Yeah, perfect steroids if you want to get hench and die.
It happened to Tom Brady as well, so the NFL guy. So that was quite pleased that he'd been accused of failing a drugs test. I accused of failing a drugs test. Then I either top myself or I die because of the steroids, but ultimately it was because of the steroids, and you could purchase them at this website.
So basically somebody did some testing on Facebook. They did all 3 articles and thought, right, which one's got the most clout? Like, this one, we'll stick with that, put the pay behind that, let's get some steroids.
And it was all on the back of it, ESPN stuff, and I was like, well, that's no good, is it?
Bastards. So it's very apparent to listener now that you're an active guy. You do loads. I mean, we've still not even spoken about the books yet, and the House of Rugby. But when you were like always tinkering away and trying new things during your career and even now. Was there anyone ribbing you like in your team? Like, James, you're doing way too much, man.
Yeah, I mean, my wife does that to me now, but yeah, I took criticism from everybody. I took criticism from all the old school rugby players. I took criticism from journalists. I took criticism from coaches for just trying to broaden my horizons. And now, I've just retired. It's a scary place. There's lots of psychological issues with retiring for lots of different people. And just because I haven't got a vocation, I still have to work and find stuff. But I'm glad that I've started already the path and done these things already, because a lot of lads haven't. And a lot of lads, will have a better careers than me or worse careers than me. And it's a very scary place. So I got heat from everybody. I've always been guilty of probably doing too much. Even I feel like in the last kind of 5 or 6 years, I got the work-life balance right. It's better to do 2 things really well than 10 things badly. But I just end up being reactionary, like the music thing. Everyone's like, we should just focus on DJing. I'm like, yes, but that unfortunately is not going to pay the bills and is great, but I'm going to struggle massively to become credible. Everyone keeps saying to me, you're a rugby player, you're not going to be taken seriously. People in music or as in art, as in everything, are very particular. So it's going to be a long battle. The fitness books and cookbooks were great because I was helping people and they were fantastic. But again, it's not a sustainable thing. You have to have the sales to match it. I mean, both of them sold really well, but in comparison to what my wife sold, she absolutely killed it. She was the second biggest selling fitness author of 2018 behind the body coach bastard. Yeah. He's just completed the game.
Ain't no one stopping him. He is in the next stratosphere, mate. He's up there.
He's different level. He's just going to bed like Scrooge McDuck on a massive mound of cash.
Doing crunches with just cash.
With gold blocks. That was what I would do. Instead of kettlebells, gold bars. So he's been kind of killing it. And then, the TV and broadcasting stuff, again, I absolutely love it, but it's freelance. It's very... I feel like you have to make stuff happen for yourself, hence me setting up the radio show, hence me kind of doing all the social media bits and pieces. And
the sing song?
Sorry, mate. Carry on, mate. Sorry. Just came across a clip.
Just fucking stitched me up again.
Across a clip.
Having a sing-song. Wait, it's the best clip ever.
Just you were speaking about broadcasters, so just came across this clip of you. I mean, as a broadcaster, I think everybody has their highlight reels. This is definitely one of yours. I'd like you to explain what happened afterwards, but listen carefully to the clarity James brings to this conversation on Sky Sports Rugby.
Sing-song? Is it everyone into the ice bath? What will they be doing now? I think you'll have a sing-song. It's important to celebrate a victory, whether it was the prettiest thing in the world. I think you've got to get around with each other, ready to regroup next week.
Hey, do you know what, right? Everybody laughs at that. I genuinely thought at the time I was having a stroke. Honestly, because what happened was that somebody in the truck had put a delay on my headphones, right? And there's an app that you can get on your iPhone, and Chris Moyles does it on his radio show, where if you put your voice on a certain time lag delay and your headphones and you can hear it, your brain can't function and you're unable to speak.
Yeah.
And the guy had done that to me, so I could hear myself in my headphones. And when I started to talk, it felt like I was slipping to one side or standing up. I was like, oh my God, this can't be what I sound like. Because in my mind, I was thinking clearly. I was like, right, have a sing-song. Even if it's not the prettiest game together, you want to regroup, make sure you celebrate the little victories, and go again. But it came out absolute bollocks, right? But as I was talking, I could hear it and I thought, I've heard talk back before, maybe it's fine. And then I looked at Will Greenwood, he was fine. I went off and mowed the lawn, and then everyone laughed at me, and I was like, what for? And they went, did you not hear yourself? I went, that's not how I sounded. And they were like, yes, it was. And then my phone just went, blew up, and everyone's like, and obviously you got all the football fans going, mate, you're such a fucking mug drinking, don't drink, you fucking idiot. Like, everyone's going completely mad, like, shouldn't be pissed, too much hospitality. I was like, I haven't had one drink.
Was that fully sober then, really?
Mate, 100%, I was like I am now, 100% sober.
Yeah.
I promise you.
I thought you were going to level with me and be like, yeah.
No, I tell you, I wouldn't give a shit. I'm retired. I would honestly be like, no, but mate, I'd have to have been on a load of narcotics and a load of drinks to be able to do that. That's the kind of shit you see that Kerry Katona going on like Good Morning Britain on, or like Britney Spears smashing a load of like Vicodin and sleepers, and after a 24-hour flight.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't even when I'm drunk normally I don't change.
I mean, what was great about that though is that it's your straight face. Is that you look like was it the Fast Show? There was the guy that was like, and I was very drunk.
Yeah. Me, the third Duke of Winborn, in the girls' changing room, my age, my reputation. I was very, very, very drunk. That's exactly where it is like that.
Yeah.
Sing song, the whole thing was made of marzipan. That's exactly what it was like. Yeah, that's essentially what I felt like. But I was legit 100% sober.
Yeah, so I guess somebody got in a little bit of trouble then for that delay then, right?
Well, no one took the accountability. I just weathered it. I had so much so I had to go on Soccer AM to deal with it because all the football fans were like getting into me still, but they call things like football fans. They just call you the CUNT every 5 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So you're like, you fucking you're like, oh God, calm down. So I had to deal with that. But it's just basically public shaming, and everyone now brings it up. So thanks, lads, for doing
no
that.
problem.
It's fine, but
it'd be rude not to.
It's perpetuating that kind of full, just that bit of myth. Is he going to get loose? Is he not going to get loose?
Yeah.
Is he crazy? Can he speak? Can he not speak? But hopefully it hasn't affected my bookings.
I think it will make your bookings go up. I think there are people tuning in just to see, right, has he got this? He's got a delay?
I've actually subsequently done Sky a few times since. Thank God I got back on the horse. Because I think if work had dried up after that and that was my last moment in the sun.
Yeah.
Could have been real bad.
Yeah, it would have been, man. But yeah, sorry. Look, we'll put a link to the clip in the show description. It's a tweet that went out as a geezer who just had his like Sky.
It was my mate.
Was it your mate?
It was my guy called Dan Robson who plays for me, and he primed ready to stitch me.
Who needs enemies, right?
I know.
Who needs enemies when you've got mates like that? So the rugby podcast, House of Rugby with Guinness, right? It's like #1 rugby podcast in the UK.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it now.
Yeah.
What's it about though? Because if you're not a rugby fan, I feel like this is a great rugby podcast to get into as well.
Yeah. So look, I think the whole idea that the House of Rugby was initially, I think they wanted to create something that wasn't too laddie, which was informative, which would have different guests all the time talking about rugby, but was more about stories, personalities, views, and perspectives. And actually, the biggest thing compliment we're getting is that people who have no interest in rugby are tuning in, because I think sports stories, behind the scenes stuff is applicable to anybody. And I think sometimes people want an insight of what it's like in the change room, what it's like dealing with my retirement, what it's like dealing with the ups and downs of being a sports person. We've had my wife on, giving it a perspective of what it's like going out with a sports person. We've had Mike Tyndall's wife on, obviously Zara. We've had all these kind of different people on, and players have kind of come on and opened up and said, Billy Vanapola said, when he was struggling with his injury, he turned to drink a little bit. He was getting a bit loose, and I think we've kind of created a comfortable atmosphere where people can speak freely. And it's just gone mega, really. I think, there's other podcasts out there that are super noisy, which are for real keynos who they want to dissect everything, they want to talk about everything. It's not really my vibe. I like rugby. I'm not a huge rugby fan. I don't sit and watch rugby all the time. I used to watch rugby more to learn about stuff from other players that I was interested in learning from. I wouldn't watch games. Where some players, Elliot Daly, Dan Robson, they will watch every bit of rugby on the TV. They will plan their weekend round. If we go on an away game and we're playing the next day, they will get the hotel bar to put on that night's game so they can watch it all. That's not me. And I think House of Rugby has been kind of really good with that. We were sponsored by Guinness. We get to have a beer. We get to sit back and relax. Alex Payne is fantastic. He's kind of an ex-Sky presenter, or still does some Sky presenting, but very polished, very reserved, kind of little Lord Fauntleroy. He's kind of like, like a Just William-esque character. And there's kind of me, obviously just king of verbal diarrhea, and you've kind of got Mike Tyndall, World Cup winner, very experienced. Then kind of Mike will go off and we'll bring in a Ben Ryan, who's coached Fiji to the gold medal at the Olympics. But just culturally, the stories about what it was like to be in Fiji and what Fiji was like, and the stuff he had to do, like his first training session. He turned up and their best player wasn't there. So after the training session, he went to the village, and the guy was on the floor, and he couldn't play because someone had cursed his legs, and everyone was legit like, you can't play. And I've tried to use that excuse a few times as to why I walk funny and why I couldn't train. My legs are cursed. Obviously, no one believed it, but it's kind of quite mega.
Yeah, it is, man. You had some great guests on there as well, including Richard from Richard and Judy.
Yeah.
Randomly, yeah.
Well, because he's Chloe's dad.
No,
my wife's dad.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so my wife's dad. Yeah, I know.
What a father-in-law.
I know. What a boy, mate. He's unbelievable. He's wicked. So that's Chloe. So I didn't know until after the first 2 or 3 dates that it was her dad. It was only when I'd stayed over and I looked at the picture on the wall And I thought, fucking hell, Chloe's into some fruit looking Jesus. Like I you know, it's kind of like an like older, you know, well-aged, not but like when I say well-aged, like aged unbelievably well Playboy character. So I don't really like that. You know, with chalk and cheese. And then I found out it was her dad. So it was a little bit of a sigh of relief. But yeah, Rich and Judy are my in-laws. So it's their wicked people. So he came on. We've had all sorts really.
Yeah. Vernon Kay, I think.
Yeah, Vernon Kay presented one of them.
Yeah.
But the back catalogue of people coming on is fantastic. We've got a new 44 shows coming up, so we're going to do some more bits and pieces. Obviously, the World Cup's coming up. I'm trying to get a few other people on board. You know, I want to get some other people from different sports. I might see if I can get David Hay in from the boxing world. And
I think that'd be an interesting chat. He's a good talker, isn't he?
He is a very good talker.
Yeah,
so
he's got a chat.
I'm keen to get a few people in.
What's Christmas like though at Richard and Judy's house though? If you go over to the in-laws.
Well, that was my very first meeting with them. I got invited over to Boxing Day.
That's a big deal.
That is a massive deal,
Yeah.
Most people would normally kind of sort of crap their pants and just not go. But I fronted it. I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. What's the worst going to happen? Rolled in, entire family, her three brothers, all their girlfriends, me, Rich and Judy in there. It was brilliant. It was all going really swimmingly until they told me that Richard was a bit of a animal in the kitchen. That like when he's cooking and balancing him, you don't want to disturb him. Like he once told Jamie Oliver to fuck off out of the kitchen when Jamie Oliver came in. So I bowled in, thought, oh, I'd break a bit of ice, give him a bit of stick, and he just went, fuck off. And I literally went, whoop, turned around, came back to the table and was like, head in hands like this, going, Chloe was like, what's wrong, babe? And I was like, I don't know how to say this, Chloe, but your dad just told me to fuck off, and I just don't think I can. I mean, it's pretty awkward. I don't think we can. You know, I probably have to go home now because you know, when some parent told you to fuck off, you think it's really bad.
Yeah.
But Richard just breezed in as like he said nothing. We were best of friends as everywhere, and apparently tells everyone to fuck off. So it was kind of quite the perfect thing. But we bonded ever since. Judy hasn't told me to fuck off, which is good.
Fair. I mean, she tells you to fuck off. It's real.
I think it's really good. Especially she's like a kind of a best-selling author, academic. I think if she pulls the pin out on that one, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad news. But was the food good though?
Very good, actually. Very good. Yeah, it was really good. He makes a naughty little gravy, actually, kind of a homemade.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of sherry in there. I think there's a few bits and pieces and a bit of port. I think it's very nice.
Yeah, that's a good gravy. With a bit of booze in it, mate.
There is.
So before you get out of it, because you've been here for an hour, clearly, what are you thinking about rugby this year then, World Cup? I know, like you said at the start, it's a bit of a sore, because you're kind of so close to the end of your career, so you're next to it, really, aren't you? You're looking at it. You've just passed it. So what? You just passed it. You passed it.
You've dust it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts for the team this year?
I think it's really exciting. I think, as I said, I'm going to hopefully go into camp. So I'm really excited to see what they're doing and catch up with the guys. Because again, I haven't. Everyone's back in pre-season now, so all my rugby friends are kind of working hard. So I don't know what they think following me on social media. Where like 1 minute I'm DJing at Rolls Royce. Next minute I'm in Ibiza, the next minute I'm sort of somewhere else. So I think I think obviously retirement probably looks like it's more fun than it is. But I think England, for me, can go on and win the World Cup. I'm really excited about it. I think hopefully, we get behind them like we did with the cricket and everything else, and maybe it's coming home. Who knows what the story is? But I believe England can go and do it, and I think that's why retiring was so much harder for me, because I genuinely believe that there's a good chance of winning it, and I think. Hopefully I'm close enough if they do win, I can still cash in. Like, I was sort of there. I played 3.5 years, just missed out on the important bit.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think, I'd love them to see them do it. I think Eddie Jones's coaching staff are brilliant. I think the players are awesome. So I'm very excited about kind of the World Cup. I mean, the first 2 weeks I'm in the Maldives. Like at a 6-star hotel, commenting for the guests on the World Cup.
Hollywood James, man.
Mate, it's the best gig. I put it up and lads are writing, going, fuck off, mate. That can't be real. I went, yeah. Sonny Vafushi I'm going to, and I've got to commentate and then hopefully go out to Japan after that. But If not, that's not a bad intro for 2 weeks.
It's not bad. Will you be able to get involved in any of the drills if you get down to camp and help out a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, I think they wanted me to DJ maybe for them during the workout, their workout after strength sessions, and then maybe do a session with the back row in the morning. But, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. Listen, when Eddie calls, you just do what he tells you to do.
Fair enough.
He just says, mate, do you want to come into camp? I was like, yep, sir.
Yeah.
And then he's put his kind of other guys in charge of trying to sort it out. But I think it's a combination of DJing, coaching, shit chatting. I don't know, mate. Who knows what it could be.
On that note, mate, I've got to leave on a high, mate. Thanks very much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Sick. Cheers for coming down, man.
Mate.